I'm Brent Weber with Craig Hummer, a man who patrolled these waters for a decade as a lifeguard. He knows what they're off to for a start here, but for starters, what took us so long to get a triathlon event like this here in Southern California?
They had to be there. They weren't there earlier in the year. Not that long ago, before these trades were made, I would sit here and argue with you that that team down in Anaheim had a better, more promising lineup, 1 through 8, all told, talent-wise, than the Dodgers had 1 through 8. He said, I've never felt worse after a game, because he's had a lot of games to feel bad about dropping footballs. 49ers defense, though, you can talk all you want about losing Jerry Rice and Steve Young and being out. You look at their success, and if you tack up their defensive numbers over the last 3 years, you'll be hard-pressed to find any better defensive football team in the NFL.
How long does it take to, say, drop a game of tennis without winning a point? Well, that's about how long the drama lasted in the final of the Acura today, as top-seeded Venus Williams lost the opening game to teenager Elena Dokic, but lost only 3 more games en route to her 3rd straight title at La Casa. Padres have just 11 games left before that August 30th strike date, so let's see, 11 games. Do they have enough healthy arms to get them there? A couple of more went on the disabled list today. Lefty Mike Bynum, the latest Padre to make his big league debut on the hill. Baseball's All-Star Game is on tap this week in Milwaukee. It's the home of Commissioner Bud Selig's Brewers. Trevor Hoffman will represent the Padres in the game, and Phil Nevin will rep the team down the freeway in Chicago. That's where the union's gathering to talk about the possibility of setting a strike date. Yes, strike date. Let that sink in. Speaking of strikes, 20-year-old lefty Oliver Perez threw a bunch of them in Denver as the Padres got a feel-good getaway to the first half. Let's call him El Nino.
Most recently in Game 2 this season here in Cleveland, when the Steelers pulled out a narrow victory. But when these teams meet in Game 15 here in Pittsburgh, they may take the rivalry to a new level. Never before have the Browns and Steelers met this late in the season with this much on the line.
The corner of El Centro in Del Paso is only a mile or so from Arco Arena. It was just before 9 o'clock when the accident occurred. Dark at this intersection. Hurley was thrown from his car into a drainage ditch across the street. Needless to say, Bobby doesn't drive this way home anymore.
To many, the Kiwis are a sentimental favorite, mainly because of the David and Goliath storyline. In America, yachting is a sport of the elite, a symbol of wealth and power. But in New Zealand, sailing is a national pastime, a sport of the common people. Their long-awaited arrival here at Hohokam Park, they were greeted with an impressive example of how the new Cubs management team can work.
Well, Fred, I don't know what you were doing in 1976, but that was the year Tom Lasorda took over his dream job as manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers. For the next 20 years, he showed no signs of slowing down until the night of June 23rd, when Tommy Lasorda, at age 68, suffered a mild heart attack. Doctors performed an angioplasty, and for the next 5 weeks, he worked at regaining his health. But when given the medical clearance last Friday to return to the field, Lasorda ultimately decided that his health is more important than managing the Dodgers. History was made last year in Anaheim. For the first time in Ducks franchise history, there were empty seats at the Pond as the NHL team struggled in the wake of Ron Wilson's ouster as coach. So Disney shook up the front office this offseason and changed coaches again. Last year's contract holdout Paul Correa is healthy, and his old pal Teemu Selanne hungry. But when the two showed up at training camp, they found that under new head coach Craig Hartsburg, their on-the-ice relationship is facing more changes.
To dream is a solitary thing. Dreams take shape in moments alone, are breathed life with a loving, helping hand, then facilitated by others who, clutching their dreams too, provide power in numbers. And when they come true, the fruits of labor and love, of luck and life, when dreams come true, they cease to be solitary. Then our dreams become something we can share with the world. A small band of young men, 11 and 12-year-old boys, took us along for the ride of their lives. They never stopped to notice we were watching, swinging with them, cheering for them, dreaming right beside them. In the name of South Mission Viejo, they played as all-stars and claimed the U.S. Little League title. For taking us along to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and thus taking us all back to our first solitary moments where we dared to dream. We'll forever remember them as Orange County's 1997 Boys of Summer.
OCN presents The Boys of Summer, the South Mission Viejo All-Stars journey to the Little League National Championship.
I'm Brent Weber. Thanks for joining us as we look back at the accomplishments of this merry band of young men, their fans, families, and community, galvanized by the pursuit of something these boys dared to dream for themselves. Improbable? Perhaps. Out of 4 regions in the U.S., from among 7,000 teams on 6 continents worldwide, it's arguable that just getting out of the West and into the Little League World Series is the most difficult task of all. But it didn't prove to be an impossible one. Our Jeff Fischel chronicles the on-field journey that took these 11 and 12-year-old boys from this very field in South Mission Viejo to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and into the... Good All Hallows Eve to all you SoCal sports goblins out there. I'm Brent Weber, your host for the rarely spooky but always thrilling look at the Southland's prep sports scene, the Los Angeles Times Sports Prep Show. All right, keep working on that, Marty. You'll get it. One of the nice things about the MLK Holiday Dream Classic in Long Beach is that it brings together talented teams that might not otherwise play each other in mid-season. And that talent provides us with our big game, featuring a city section school and a southern section team miles apart in both distance and history.
The triathlon, a test of human endurance, conditioning, and will. A combination of athletic endeavors that each require specialized training in different environments. The heart and lungs are the engine that propel these men and women through water, on their wheeled machines, and afoot. For years, triathletes from around the world have wanted a new challenge and an opportunity to compete in and around one of the greatest cities in the world. Now they have that chance. The year 2000 marks the first running of what will surely be the greatest event in multi-sport racing, the Jamba Juice City of Los Angeles Triathlon. Hello and welcome to Venice Beach, the starting point for the inaugural Jamba Juice City of Los Angeles Triathlon.